alter Brief. Anwesen der Reid-Familie, 8. März 1908. Mein lieber Avery, wie ich ihm bereits vor Tagen mitgeteilt habe, muss ich England verlassen, wenn auch nur für ein paar Monate, solange ich fort bin, und bis mein Sohn nach London zurückkehrt. Möchte ich, dass Sie sich gut um unser Haus kümmern. Ich habe bereits die nötigen Arrangements getroffen, um Ihren Lohn zu erhöhen und ihn so lange weiter zu zahlen, wie Sie hier arbeiten. Sie haben mir versprochen, meine geliebte Frau zu beschützen und ihr bestmöglich zu dienen. Dafür möchte ich Ihnen von ganzem Herzen bei ihm bedanken. Sollte ich nicht wiederkehren, haben einzig und allein Sie mein volles Vertrauen, Ihr innigster Freund Aubrey Reid. Avery, das ist ja der Butler, ne? Unbekannter. Zart und bis zum letzten Atemzug um die Familie der Flucht zu besorgen. Oh. Bitter. Aber was ich eigentlich sagen wollte, alter Verwalter, haben die ein geiles Haus. Oh. Ich weiß nicht, ob du noch in dem Alter bist, wo du dich auf dem Boden hinknien solltest.
Good evening, Avery.
Mr. Jonathan? I can't believe my own eyes. Oh, it's a miracle. We all thought you were...
Praise the Lord.
Sir, your poor sister. What a tragedy.
I know, Avery. I know about my sister's murder.
Miss Reid expected you to return to assist with the funeral, right up until the last minute. Where have you been, Mr. Jonathan? We needed you here.
Ja. Geht's dir? Okay. Schon.
Tell me the truth, Avery. Do you feel forced to stay here? Would you leave this house without the arrangement made by my father?
No, sir. I have nowhere else to go. And I promised your father I'd take care of his family as long as I live.
This house is dead, Avery. There is a curse on this family. You really should consider leaving.
If only you could have been here sooner or more often. Maybe this house would not be that empty. But you're here now, sir. So my task is not over.
Oh. Avery wünscht sich, dass der junge Jonathan Reid sich mehr um seine Mutter kümmern würde. Ich verstehe, wenn sie gehen. Okay, ich weiß, ich klinge jetzt gleich wieder die letzte arschige Person. Aber wäre es nicht eigentlich gut, wenn Mutter bald sterben würde? Wenn wir zur Not ein bisschen nachhelfen? Das ist gerade so ein bisschen wie dieses, naja, sein Haustier vom Leiden erlösen. Boah. Ja, naja, ich meine, der gute Avery ist ja auch nicht mehr der Jüngste unbedingt, ne? Also, ist ja nur nicht so, dass wir jemanden haben, der sich körperlich um sie kümmern kann. Also wenn sie stürzt und er ist ja auch schon, ich glaube, mehr in der Gebrechlichkeit. Also jetzt mal, na, wie gesagt, so rein vom Leben. Wir werden nicht mehr als richtiger, normaler Sohn zurückkehren. Das wird, glaube ich, nicht passieren. Und unsere Mutter
Considering the recent tragedies in this family, I'd understand if you want to leave or decide to serve another house.
Then I will stay. All I ask is that you take care of my own funeral if I die before the end of the epidemic. No mass grave, please, sir.
You really think I don't take enough care of my mother, Avery?
Yes, I do, Mr. Jonathan.
You clearly have something more to say. Speak your mind, Avery.
I know you work hard to help the sick, but what will you do once the epidemic is over?
Verschwinden. Mein Zuhause ist hier. Das ist nicht mehr mein Zuhause. Ich bin mir unsicher. Ich meine, realistisch gesehen, das ist nicht mehr sein Zuhause. Also es ist sein Zuhause, aber es ist halt nicht mehr zu Hause.
I really don't know. I have always enjoyed seeing new horizons. Once the epidemic is over, it would be nice to leave London for a while.
I understand, Mr. Jonathan, but you have to realize that your mother needs you. Your next departure could break her heart.
Ja, definitiv, aber
How is my mother?
Not well, I'm afraid, sir. Miss Reid is very fragile since the police brought her back home.
The police? What happened?
Miss Reid was found walking in the streets. She kept saying she had spoken with her son and daughter. She's resting now.
Has she received appropriate medical care?
I'm taking care of Miss Reid myself. Hospitals are so overwhelmed by the epidemic that they can only accept patients infected by influenza.
so, bei den Guten wissen wir jetzt also alles. Er ist der Einzige, der sich um sie kümmert.
Perhaps we could arrange a short trip. Somewhere sunny, like France. She has always been very fond of France. I think leaving London could do her good.
I'm afraid Miss Reid is too frail for the moment. Recently, she started going out at night without remembering it. I have to watch her carefully.
Ja, gerade deswegen wäre es vielleicht nicht schlecht, wenn sie aus London verschwindet.
What is the situation in this part of town?
For a time, the West End seemed spared by the epidemic. But the situation is getting much worse.
Have you no relatives anywhere? I'll understand if you want to take a few days to see family.
Your father managed to guarantee my earnings as long as I take care of this house, sir. My sisters are dead, and I've never met my nephews. I'll stay, sir.
I'm sorry I could not be here for Mary's funeral.
Your mother was strong, sir, but your support would have been appreciated. Apart from the priest and I, no one else attended your sister's funeral.
To be present at the funeral with you both was my dearest wish, Avery. But I am sorry, I simply could not attend.
I would not dare to question your absence, Mr. Jonathan. All I can say is that we missed you a great deal during these difficult days.
Goodbye, Avery. Please watch over my mother until I return.
Of course, Mr. Jonathan, but please return as soon as possible.
Wir werden unser Bestes tun, dem Wunsch nachzugehen, nachdem wir hier erstmal alles ausgeräumt haben. So. Na gut. Jane habe ich jetzt erstmal wieder geschockt mit meinen gemeinen Aussagen. Das bringen wir doch einfach alles um. So, wir gehen mal wieder raus, ne? naja, sagen wir mal, das ist einfach eine verfrühte Art der Sterbehilfe der besonderen Art und Weise für unsere Mutter.
Mary? Dear daughter, how are you tonight? How is your sweet boy?
Oh, ist das noch unsere letzte Mahlzeit? Oder? Kleiner Schlüssel. Reids Büro. Cool. Anyway, warte. Nein, uns fehlt noch einer. Einmal alles auffüllen. So. It's locked. I cannot enter. Kommen wir hier jetzt rein? Die Tür wurde aufgeschlossen. Okay.
Yes, Jonathan? Spending next summer in France? Absolutely. Why not?
Siehste, Frankreich. Mein lieber Sohn, wenn du diesen Brief erhältst, bist du 35 Jahre alt und ich werde schon lange fort sein. Entschuldigung. Ich fühle mich etwas traurig, dass ich dir einen Brief schreibe, den du erst in einigen Jahren lesen wirst. Ich habe lange mit mir gerungen, wie ich dir am besten schreibe, bis mir unser Rätsel eingefallen sind, die ich mir für dich ausgedacht habe, als du ein Junge warst. Ach, wie du es geliebt hast, diese Rätsel zu lösen. Hielt es für eine gute Idee, dir ein letztes dieser Spiele vorzuschlagen. Es wird keine richtige Belohnung geben. Dieses Mal also keine Süßigkeiten oder exotische Kostbarkeiten, wenn du es löst. Aber dafür gibt es für dich etwas wahrscheinlich Kostbareres. Die Wahrheit. Das ist mein einziger Versuch darzulegen, warum ich die Familie ohne Erklärung verließ. Wenn du den Grund wissen möchtest, spiele einfach mein kleines Spiel. Es ist einzig und allein deine Entscheidung, mein Sohn. Glaub mir, ich liebe dich. Ich verspreche, dass die Familie alles für mich war und immer noch ist. Ich erinnere mich daran, dass deine Schwester und dich zum ersten Mal in den Armen hielt. Meine Schätze, meine Juwelen. Immer wenn ich heimkam, erfüllte es mich mit solcher Freude, euch aufwachsen, spielen und lachen zu sehen. Ich hätte getötet, um euch zu beschützen. Mein Sohn, meine Tochter, meine Frau. Doch am Ende hat mich mein Schicksal eingeholt und ich musste eine schwierige Entscheidung treffen. Es fiel mir am schwersten, ohne ein Wort zu verschwinden. Ich tat es trotzdem. Und schon bald werde ich endgültig verschwunden sein. Ich bitte dich nicht um Vergebung, nur um Verständnis. Wenn du mehr erfahren möchtest, musst du dich nur daran erinnern, wie glücklich wir damals waren. Wenn du meine nächste Nachricht finden möchtest, denke an das grüne Gras und die großen Bäume an den warmen Sonnentagen. Dein, dich liebender Vater, Reid.
I remember Sunday walks in the park.
Im Park. Cool. Eine Reise in die Vergangenheit. Ja, Familiensachen jetzt auch noch dazu bekommen. Das Lot! So, und irgendwo war noch draußen gerade jemand am Rumschreien, der nach unserer Hilfe verlangt hat. Mutter, wir sind Batman, wir müssen wieder Dinge tun. Ah, also man merkt schon, wir sind, glaube ich, wirklich in einem Lot! Oh mein Gott, mein Hals. Im besser betuchten Stadtteil angekommen.
The Ascalon Club. The heart of British vampire society. Not quite as subtle as I expected.
Where shall I eat tonight?
Charles Geschäft. Mutter, wir sind Batman. Oh nein.
Good evening, sir. Please forgive me for disturbing you. I'm a doctor.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell, and I welcome you.
Well, I must admit it's good to receive a warm welcome for once. I'm Jonathan Reid.
Welcome, Dr. Reid. Welcome to my humble shop.
How is the situation in this part of town?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in such an era of progress and wonders.
Are you not concerned about the epidemic?
What
Oh, I'm
epidemics?
sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
Der ist sehr positiv eingestellt, der Gute. Keine Beziehungen. Seien Sie, das ist...
You cannot expect the newspapers to expose the truth while the war is still raging. I can assure you that the situation here is desperate.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit? For the thrill of it?
Ja. Mensch, solche Menschen kennen wir doch auch.
Is it not a little too late to be trading?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating characters.
Und kein Konkurrent hat offen.
So you prefer to work at night?
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais quoi of its own.
Okay.
But what about the epidemic? The bombs and raids? And all the random violence?
Please, sir, this is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share the address if you want.
Ich habe spezielle
I must confess, I have quite specific tastes when it comes to nutrition.
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please share the address.
Hallo Krieger. Die Phasmo-Sounds sind ausgeschaltet, wenn ich solche Spiele spiele. Ich hoffe, dir geht es gut. Ich hoffe, du hattest ein schönes Wochenende bis jetzt gehabt, Krieger. Und willkommen zurück. Wieder da. Musste mich nur einloggen. Tolle Wunder des Internets.
Finding a good restaurant? Is that really all that interests you?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth to my belly.
Aber morgen sind sie wieder da. Wenn wir morgen wieder EVE Online spielen. Versprochen. So, okay. Also er ist ein Fresssack, dem scheißegal ist, was draußen so passiert.
Do you have any family nearby?
Not since my parents died. I'm London's lone gourmet.
London's lone gourmet. What a strange title.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic, and I kept it.
Really? But you seem to be such a pleasant and sociable fellow.
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes. I discovered ecstasy as a solitary pleasure, but it does not mean it can't ever be shared.
I may have a look at your goods, Mr. Russell.
Hat er irgendwas, was wir haben wollen? Bleiplatte. Oh, wir haben gar nicht mehr so viele Münzen. Ich glaube, wir müssen mal wieder ein bisschen...
Women's right to vote is only the first step. Support the equality between men and women. Women of all countries unite!
Good evening, miss.
Oh my god, no. Please, Mr. Vampire, don't kill me. Please, no. I'm too young to die. I still have so much to offer this world.
Wait, no. Why do you think I would... What?
Don't worry, Dr. Reid. I know you wouldn't harm me. Mother told me you were in this part of town and might drop by.
Your mother?
My name is Charlotte, sir. Charlotte Ashbury. My mother taught me long ago how to recognize the signs that betray a vampire.
I understand she also taught you how to tease and gently mock innocent young econs. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Charlotte.
Charlotte. Oh. Mir geht's gut. Ah, Adoption.
What do you think about this part of town?
I was raised here, and I suppose it feels like home. You grew up in this part of town too, did you not?
Yes.
Yes, I was born a few streets away.
A small world, is it not? Did you ever imagine that my mother was your neighbor all that time? That you could have met her in a dark alley at night?
You won't trick me twice, young lady. We both know Lady Ashbury never hunts or attacks prey at random.
Come on, Doctor. Don't tell me you never thought about that possibility. Her fangs on your neck. Oh, are you blushing, Dr. Reid?
Is there something that's bothering you?
Too much selfishness and individualism for my taste. Even when there was no epidemic.
Even if that's partly true, may I remind you that many charitable institutions are financed by the selfish and filthy rich.
I suppose you're right. But society must reform and renew itself, or we are all done for.
What are you doing out here?
You mean, what do I do outside at night, since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same question of a man?
Actually, yes. I ask the same question to everyone who dares to go outside at night, considering the risks.
Well, if you must know, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when men can vote at 21?
Ja, wir tun das ja wirklich. Wir fragen ja auch die Männer, was ihr nachts ausmachen, wenn wir ja gerade ziehen. Ja, gut. Wir wissen zumindest, was draußen so abgeht.
Are you a suffragette then? Oh, you really are Elizabeth's girl. Without a doubt.
All adult women have the right to vote in the US, in New Zealand, and in Australia. But women here can't vote unless they are property owners.
No need to convince me, Miss Charlotte. I have shared your opinion for a long time. Even before I met Emmeline Pankhurst.
Really? Oh. Now I see why my mother appreciates you so much. Too bad there aren't more men like you in the vicinity.
How are the locals reacting to your claims?
People here can't wait for a wall to be built to isolate the West End from the rest of town. That's how progressive they are. If this happens, Emily and I will blow it up.
Explosives are very dangerous, young lady. And who is this Emily?
She is my best friend, and a suffragette too. She was supposed to campaign with me tonight, but hasn't turned up.
Have you any reason to be worried about her?
Recently, Emily started to believe in... well, she got interested in vampires. I'm afraid she might be in trouble.
Let me guess. You spoke to her about us, didn't you? Despite your mother's warning. I think I should try to find your friend.
Oh, that would be top-notch. I
Woher
can tell you
wissen
where
wir
she
von
might
der
have
Warnung
gone.
der Mutter?
You have my thanks, Dr. Reid. And please, don't tell my mother.
Emily.
What exactly has your mother told you about me?
Your name and profession, obviously, and the mystery about your maker. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to your sister, sir. Mother says it was not your fault.
Does it not scare you to know what I am? What your mother is?
Why should it? My mother is the most compassionate woman. Must I be wary of her, Dr. Reid? Or you?
Nein. Charlotte weiß viel über Vampire und scheint sie nicht zu fürchten. Nee, sie fürchtet uns nicht und ihre Mutter nicht. Ich glaube, alle anderen vielleicht schon noch. Nein.
Of course not. You have nothing to fear from me, or your mother.
Good to know. And don't worry, my mother told me everything I need to know about vampire tricks, their nature as well as features.
Your mother is not like any other vampire I've met.
I believe she thinks the same about you, Dr. Reid.
Tell me about your adoption.
What do you want to know?
Alles?
How did you meet Lady Ashbury?
First, I was an orphan in the institution for girls she manages in the West End. When I was 10, she adopted me, and I have lived with her ever since.
Did you know she was a vampire when she picked you?
The correct word is Ekon, Doctor. And no, I had no idea why my mother only showed up at night. She told me everything when I turned 16. Though I suspected the truth for a long time before that.
Who are your real parents?
Elizabeth Ashbury is my real mother. She raised me and has taken care of me all my life. I have no idea who my progenitors are or were.
Do you live with her?
I still spend a lot of time in my mother's mansion, but I have my own house now. I have a life to live, you see. And one day, I'll have my death to face.
Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you to become her daughter?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask such questions.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if she adopted others before me. If so, where are they buried? How was it for them to pass through life with a never-aging mother?
Nee, mehr war da nicht, ne? Nee, mehr. Und sie war gesund. Ich glaube, wenn wir ihr was antun,
Goodbye, Charlotte.
wird die gute
Give my
Elisabeth
best
uns im
regards to your
Ernst
mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Whether you need to buy something or not.